everybody. I'm Joe Gallimore, Director of Investment Management with Argent Bridge Advisors. Welcome to our newest cup of Joe. February is Financial Wellness Month, and today I want to talk about a topic that falls within your wellness. But first, I want to touch on a topic that we've been receiving a lot of questions about recently, and that's tariffs. With all the new tariff policies hitting the news, we want to help you gain clarity on that. And there's a spoiler alert here. The good news is that there's no reason to panic about tariffs or even make any sudden portfolio changes. That is not necessary because tariffs are happening. So tariffs, everyone by now knows what tariffs are, and by nature, they are inflationary. They're going to cause some prices to go up because though they're not literally a tax, they are essentially a tax on goods imported from other countries. And that additional cost is almost always passed on to the consumer. Now, it's important to remember that they should not cause sudden hyperinflation. You're not going to see a huge spike in the cost of everything because a tariff has been implemented. Tariffs are usually pretty pointed at specific goods, and they affect each item differently. So most of the initial inflation you see from the tariff policies should be relatively contained. Number two, there's strong reasons to believe that most of these tariffs we're hearing about right now should be short-term. Specifically, these initial ones regarding Canada and Mexico. Since the president is using big tariffs with our largest trading partners who are also our immediate neighbors, that's something that should seem kind of counterintuitive. That likely signals that the tariffs are just a bargaining maneuver, like we've heard, to kickstart other discussions. And they've basically effectively already stated as much. So once progress is made on those other issues, you should see tariffs be rolled back, which we've already seen with the 1 month delays, the Canadian and Mexican tariffs. So hopefully we see that same pattern happen on the interactions with China and Europe that have already been broadcast when tariffs are imposed on them. Now, to set a realistic expectation, some strategists we've been listening to, they believe that it is reasonable that there will be some level of kind of a universal tariff with our biggest trading partners that may be in place for an extended period of time. The conjecture I hear there, it's going to be like much less than what we've been hearing, something like 10% or less. Now, the reason they think that is that with the new administration's policy shakeups that they're trying to accomplish, the new administration is going to be looking for other alternative means of revenue for the government, and tariffs is one very realistic possibility. Now, the last point I want to make is on the resiliency of the American population. People can and will adjust. We always have, and we will always find ways to do it. And just like when tax rates are adjusted by Congress, we slowly ease into a new normal and we make necessary adjustments, right? The market, they will absorb this information as well and move past it. It's just what the market does. Of course, we should expect some short-term shocks when headlines hit the news cycle related to tariffs, and shocks both down and up, but then watch the market settle up, as the old adage goes. So that's your information on tariffs for this month. Now, back to financial wellness. February is Financial Wellness Month. Today, we wanted to talk about protecting the well-being of your assets, and in particular, how to protect them from scams. Lately, really since the beginning of 2024, we've been reading about a lot of different types of scams that have become very pervasive. And we've even had reports from clients of scam attacks on them. So that's what we want to talk about today. The ones we want to primarily warn you about, they're financial in nature, and they're ones that you might receive by email or phone. You may have heard them called phishing scams, which is the technical term. So the first example of that is you may receive emails with asking you to sign something. They're bogus DocuSign emails. You'll get this email from what appears to be a familiar sender, and they say, you need to do this. Please sign the attached document. Now, do not open these emails. ABA uses DocuSign for all our paperwork, but you will know our email address. You will know our name. If you're at all skeptical about it, give us a call and we'll talk you through it and you'll know it's safe to open. Otherwise, if you see an email with a DocuSign on it from that you were not expecting from someone you do not know, don't touch it. Delete it immediately. If you are not retired and you're still working, you may see emails coming from HR or payroll department, and they're talking about an adjustment to your paycheck or your eligibility for a bonus that needs to be delivered. And then it has a document attached to that describing this policy. Don't touch it. If you don't even have an HR payroll department, you know it's phony. If you do, and this is very out of the blue, don't do anything with it. Contact your your supervisor or your HR department and let them know that you received this, and they'll tell you what to do. Okay, third, we are living in the age of crypto assets, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all kinds of meme coins, all that stuff. Bitcoin is the most popular. One scam we've seen a lot is that you receive an email letting you know that there is Bitcoin sitting there in your name, and you need to click this link to go start the process of retrieving it. That is easy to pick out as suspicious, especially if you've never even considered owning Bitcoin. If you have owned Bitcoin in the past, but this still doesn't feel right, don't touch it. Go back to your own source and pursue it that way. But if you receive an email out of the blue saying you have assets that you'd never even heard of, obviously it's fake. The last one is a pretty old, pretty common one. You may receive a phone call from people saying that they're from your bank or from your credit card company, and they just will only take a minute to confirm some of your information for you. Be highly suspicious of that, because you should never, ever give out information from someone who calls. Anyone who needs to call you will already have your information, and we'll get to that in a second. So some examples we've seen of real world examples here at ABA that we've seen firsthand are we've had clients that were called by their regional energy supplier, and they were just trying to confirm some information, but our client was very astute and sensed something was fishy because some information didn't match up. So they ended that call right away. We've seen emails be intercepted when clients were going through real estate transactions. Email hacking is a very common way for scam artists to gain access to your information and then try and use it. In this case, a third party hacked their email, gave us alternate wiring instructions. We were very skeptical of that, tried to confirm everything, and avoided a potential disaster because we all caught it. We've had clients have their mail tampered with. Checks were plucked out of the mail, and since those contain some sensitive information, these con artists tried to mess with their checks, cash those checks. Luckily, everything was caught. We froze their accounts until everything was taken care of. So I have actually had my own experience with a scam artist when I received a call out of the blue from the Microsoft service department, which I don't think there is one. They wanted remote access to my computer just to make sure all my security software was up to date. I immediately knew what was going on. I told them I called them back and just hung right up. So that's what you do there. So how do you be cautious against these scams? Well, first, if you receive one by email, like I mentioned earlier, never ever click on links or open attachments from emails from unfamiliar senders. If you receive a phone call from a financial institution, do not ever give out personal information from a call that was unsolicited. No legitimate financial institution will ever call you or email you and ask you to confirm information because they should already have it. If you are ever asked to do this and you're not quite sure if it's completely fake, just get off the phone, hang up, go log into that account, or go look up the real institution, call their service department. Whether it's your bank account, an investment account, maybe your internet provider or a utility, get off the phone, call the real service department, tell them what's happened, ask if they need anything. That way you know you're dealing with someone legit. And third, if you do need to use email, try and send stuff securely if possible. with some sort of email encryption software. If you don't have that available, then simply try and relay that information over a phone call, or figure out with the other party how you can exchange the information in a secure way. So last, I want to go over what ABA does to protect your information and your assets. Well, any email exchange we have that contains any sensitive data or personal information for you, we use email encryption, and I'm sure a lot of you have experienced this with us. This data includes the things like account numbers, obviously your social security numbers, any wiring or routing numbers, things of that nature. Number two, when we need to do paperwork with you, we will use DocuSign, and anything done in DocuSign is completely secure. And like I mentioned earlier, there is a DocuSign scam going out. So if you ever see that from us, just give us a call, confirm it, and then we'll proceed. If we receive email requests asking us to send you money or asking us to place trades for you, we always confirm it verbally. We do not just straight up accept an email on faith, because we know email hacking is a very real thing. So we will do all those confirmations verbally before taking any action with your money. And if you ever believe that you are a victim of financial fraud or identity theft or any other kind of scam, notify us immediately so we can make sure that nothing happens with your assets. We will take all the proper precautions, freeze your accounts until you let us know that everything is handled. So that is it for February Financial Wellness Month edition of Cup of Joe. Be sure to check out our website and our February newsletter for lots of great content around financial wellness. We've done a lot that we think you'll like. So while you're there, be sure to like and subscribe. And that does it for this Cup of Joe. So if you have any questions, please reach out to us. Bye, everybody.